Bryce wondered if there were any other good-looking men around he could ogle. Most likely it would have to be on the sly, because he didn't trust that the vibe here was love is love. His phone buzzed, and he pulled it out of his pocket. Damn, it had been hours since he'd checked his messages. That hadn't happened in years. Determined to keep the promise he'd made to himself to not check Instagram every half hour, Bryce played some Candy Crush and a game of solitaire. "Would you like something to drink, Bryce?" Tanya called from inside. "I have iced tea, orange juice, water, beer." "Ice water would be great, thank you." When Tanya set the glass next to him, Bryce decided she'd be the perfect conduit for gathering information on Matty. "You run the B&B with Matty? How did that happen?" "Well, his mother and grandma used to do the cooking and work with the guests while Matty and his dad did all the outdoor work. Earl kept the house running smoothly. He was handy with plumbing and such. But after his Mary died, Earl changed. And when Ruthie and Caleb were killed, it nearly did him in too. Earl was always a prickly man, but he had a good sense of humor. I'm afraid those days are gone. He's become so sad and angry." A cloud of grief darkened her smile. "I stepped in to help, and now it's what I do. But I love it." "I'm sorry. Hal had mentioned they died." "How?" The last thing he wanted was to make someone unhappy and talk about death on a beautiful sunny day. But he was curious. "They were hit by a car." Bryce gulped the cold water. "That's awful." "It was. Poor Matty's borne the brunt of it all. He and his parents were so close." She wiped her eyes. "But he managed to soldier on and kept the place running because it was his family's dream." "And you were there to help, even though you didn't have to." She gave him an odd look. "Of course I did. We're like family, and that's what we do for each other. Ruthie and I grew up together and were as close as sisters. Matty's like my own son, and he and my daughter Emma are best friends." She smiled. "I'd better get back to the kitchen. Wouldn't want the cake to burn." The screen door slammed behind her, and Bryce stared out over the field. He hadn't meant to get involved in Matty's life, but it was a sad story, and he wondered if Matty really wanted to be stuck out here or if he had dreams of his own. Another notification buzzed on his phone, and he checked it out. It was a DM from some random guy holding his dick. "Wanna fuck me? I'm ready." Disgusted, Bryce deleted it. Sitting here in this beautiful, unspoiled setting, it was obscene to see something like that. At one point, he and Grant would get those types of pictures on the daily, and they'd laugh and sometimes play a game of Would You Ever. Maybe he shouldn't have laughed off the times Grant had jokingly said he would. Guess what they say is true. The internet is forever.